The views and opinions expressed by the Loft Party Podcast panel participants and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the Good Times with Good People company, the host, or its sponsors.
Just not getting it.
Welcome everybody out there in podcast land. The Good Times with Good People company proudly presents the Loft Party Podcast, where it is always about good times, good people, and good talk. Now that you've received your invitation, the best way to let us know that you're in attendance is to download the party or become official by joining us on Facebook, subscribing on YouTube, iTunes Podcasts, or Google Play Podcasts. Good. Thanks for joining us. Grab a cocktail, light a cigar, or whatever you like to smoke. Share us with your friends, and make yourself at home. I'm your host and moderator, Rio, and let's introduce today's panel. Hey out there in podcast land, I'm your host, Rio, and welcome to the Loft Party Podcast, episode 77, Hard Work versus Talent in the State of Politics. Our president is used to being treated as the talent, but now he has a job that he has to put in the hard work. But before we get started, let's introduce today's panel. And of course, we've got our returning champion, Chris O'Connor. He is the owner of Liquid 9 Entertainment and Investments, as well as having interest in Rieger Whiskey and Office Works. We've got Big Dave Elliott. He's the owner of C&P Construction. We have got Adrian Lewis. He is the founder and CEO of Path to Vision. We've got Chris Kipp. He is in automation sales.
Yes.
And the anonymous female, because she doesn't want you to know her name. And before we get into important things, let's get into important things. So, what are we drinking? And what we are drinking today is, it has an odd title, but it's actually a really, really good drink. It's called Careful Man. There's a beverage there. And 1 ounce J. Rieger whiskey, 1 ounce of Rieger Cafe Amaro, a half ounce of simple syrup, and 1.5 ounces of course, you may not be in an area that has Chateau Dairy, so you may have to improvise slightly, but Chateau Dairy's root beer milk. You build all that in a glass with ice, and you have a Careful Man. There's a beverage there. So, now that we know what we're drinking, what are we smoking? And today we're smoking an Archetype Axis. It's a dark, kind of a toothy leaf cigar. Has hints of vanilla and some nut and caramel qualities to it, and it's balanced out with hints of cedar and even a little coffee bean in the taste. It's quite a delicious smoke. It was actually a 93 on Cigar Aficionado, and it is about a $12 stick, so not outrageous, but a little bit more expensive than the last 2 or 3 sticks that we've given you. It is a Nicaraguan filler, Indonesian binder, and Ecuadorian wrapper. So for those of you out there that like your smoke, this is a truly international, truly an international smoke, and it's quite good. So please have one of those. Join us. I did not see any RIPs, at least not any that I thought that anybody out there in podcast land would know very well. So I didn't collect any RIPs this week unless somebody at the table knows of anything, but I don't think there was any thing.
Harvey Weinstein's career?
Yeah, well, yes, we do want to put a stake in that. Harvey Weinstein career is.
Did you hear him this morning?
Oh yeah.
They took away
his academy privileges.
Oh, they did that over the weekend.
Yes.
They said they've only done that one other time.
Well, they should do it more often.
Yeah. Actually, the funny thing is the guy that they did it to one other time. I know he's got to be thinking, "What the hell? Like I'm in cahoots with this guy," because I think all he did was like played like played a film too early for somebody or something like that, and they took his privilege.
Yeah, the guilt by
We
association.
didn't talk about
shallow
Tom
loan
Petty
people.
last week.
We mentioned Tom Petty, but
Did
we
we?
didn't we didn't
On the
we didn't go
RIP?
into him too deep, but we
Okay.
did.
TP was real lost with me.
Yeah, we did go
was
into
an
Tom
anchor.
Petty. Yeah.
Cornerstone.
I did collect a couple of happy birthdays, not a lot of them, but I did collect a couple that had birthdays today on podcast day. One is Suzanne Summers. Of course, if you remember Three's Company, she was Chrissy on Three's Company, and she is 71 today. And
Still looks good.
and
She does.
and
She's got a little bit too much like plastic here now.
All Hollywood has too much plastic.
Yeah, it doesn't age well though.
No, it doesn't.
does not always age well. And the other, for some of you out there in podcast land, I'm sure you will know this guy probably a little better than maybe you know Suzanne Summer. And that is, as we've heard in at least one movie, John fucking Mayer. That's right, John Mayer. He is 40 today. Which actually made me feel a little old because I thought he was older than that.
He looks a lot older.
And,
I would put this out for Suzanne Summers. She actually, and it's a twist on her RIP, she is lucky not to be an RIP. She's a cancer survivor.
yes.
And did very well with her career. And after
she was a cancer survivor.
So yeah, she ended up doing
Oh
very
yeah,
well
yeah,
for herself.
yeah. Was she the actual inventor or just the spokeswoman for the Thigh Master?
Oh, she invented it.
Yeah, invented it. Yeah, I say because I remember those goddamn Thigh Master commercials.
Yeah.
Good gravy.
Those are good commercials.
She's not poor.
Good thing.
She is not at all poor. But with all that, we'll be right back. Hey, you can search for the Loft Party Podcast on iTunes Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, and on our Good Times with Good People YouTube channel. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, tweet us on Twitter, and if you like the content we provide, donate to us on Patreon. www.patreon.com/Loft Party Podcast. You can find all of our links below. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. And we are back, and before we get too deep, let's play a quick party game. And today's party game question is, what is your favorite sport or physical activity? And I'm going to start with Adrian.
Oh, I played football, but I would say after dislocating fingers and the whole anterior ligaments, I'd say I stick to track and field.
Okay.
It's a lot safer, and yeah, it's competitive still. So track and field, and obviously I still like to work out and lift weights. So.
All right. What about you, Chris?
Rugby
Okay.
in college, but same thing as Adrian there. Had to give it up 30 years ago. So I think it's starting to become golf.
Speaking of golf.
Plan on shooting my age when I'm 70.
Okay. Speaking of golf, we went as a work group to Top Golf last Friday.
You have fun?
I had a great time.
No
Had a
problem.
great time. Speaking of which, I do want to organize. A Loft Party Top Golf trip.
Let's do it, man. We're alive.
So I think that would be hilarious and a great time.
Top golf is golf meets bowling. You
Yeah.
can sit down, you can drink, have something decent to eat, have a little fun if you're a non-golfer, and
Watch
just have
TV.
fun. Yeah,
Keep
watch-
score.
Yeah, keep score.
Yeah.
You know, you hit the targets, you get points.
Yeah.
So that's our technology in those balls.
Yeah.
RFID chip.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, because they did say all the balls had the chip in it too.
You just can't throw the ball at the target. You need to use the club to hit the ball at the target, okay?
I'll look up other rules.
All right. I just wanted to make sure you understood that simple concept.
And if I have to go, some other female has to go too.
We'll find somebody. I'll look around.
Will she be anonymous also?
In this setting, yes.
What about you,
What
Big
happens
Dad?
at Top Golf stays at Top Golf.
There you go. What about you, Big Dad?
Oh, I think everybody in this panel knows. I was a football player, got beat up, and then worked hard labor most of my life before I bought the business, and learned to swim with a master swim program. And in December I'll have 10 years.
All right.
So that is for me, swim about 5 miles a week, and just get in the pool on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays during the lunch hour and pound it hard.
Okay.
Try to hang with them young triathletes.
All right.
Maybe you can teach me how to swim one day.
I will teach you how to swim, maybe.
Actually, yeah, you teach both of us because I don't know how either.
No, you guys need professional lessons. Not that you can't
But
do it,
Adrian-
Dave, but you definitely need professional lessons.
The question I have for you, Adrian, is like
Drowner.
with me, I started off wearing the jammers, which go down to your knee. But once you get good enough, then you have to get the Speedo.
No, they don't.
I won't work with me.
No, they don't.
Yes, you do.
Oh, hey,
No, they
look.
don't.
Swimming,
You're not
we
excited
swim in
about
basketball
being
shorts.
Then you're serious.
I've seen
Then you're
Dave
a serious
in a Speedo.
badass, you know?
Okay, just so you know out there in podcast land, Dave actually has on an episode.
He wasn't, it was after the
Well, it was after the podcast, but it was the same day.
our 4th of July.
We did a 4th of July boat cast, and Dave did jump off the boat in a Speedo.
With skulls on.
Yeah, it did have skulls on it. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I was not expecting that.
That's my badass Speedo.
It was seared. It's seared into my memory.
Kind of like the Corona ad where the guys get the stimulation and
Well,
turn, and the ladies push the bottle over the
Exactly.
What the podcast people don't know is I have board shorts on.
Yes.
And I said I felt like going skinny dipping.
Yes.
And I dropped the shorts, and then on the speedo was sitting in front of me, and her eyeballs about fell out of her
You
head.
couldn't see
She
my
thought she
eyeballs.
was-
I had
she was going-
sunglasses on.
Well, dude,
But I was like, whoa!
she thought she was going to get full frontal, and just the skulls. That did enough damage, but you know.
Yep. I'm gonna have to concur with you on
But
that.
I did enjoy the faces as I pulled my gig off there. That was fun.
I don't remember who it. Oh, me, Franny.
Caroline,
Yeah.
Ben was taking a nap on the back seat.
Yeah, and Mario. I think we were all up front, and we was just
And-
like, what? But he literally was facing me, and I was like, oh, okay. There's clothing there.
Thank God,
I was
right?
not prepared.
Thank God, right?
So I thought you guys were filming me. We were going to call Big Dave Gone Wild or something like that.
If I would have known it was happening, I would have.
What about you, O'Connor?
Favorite sport will always be football, always. Favorite physical activity is still boxing. Still just love boxing, as you know. It's fun.
I say that Irish. You just gotta
And it's just a good workout.
let a fight in there somewhere. And then I'm female.
I would have to say to watch, it's probably football if I watch any sport. I like to do weightlifting, which I don't really get to do anymore, and swimming. My favorite.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite activity to do, although recently I have found like I really did enjoy pickleball.
Oh, pickleball's fun.
Like
We
I
have
really-
to do pickleball sometime too.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah, I
it's
would. Yeah, that's another
hilarious.
loft party trip I would love to do. Get everybody to play pickleball. That would be hilarious.
That's becoming quite the pastime. Travel around, people talk about that. Playing on
So
Sunday.
old farts can play pickleball.
And I guess to watch probably basketball.
This is true. I fall asleep because I can't stand basketball. I hate the sound of their shoes on the court. It's too. It's too distracting. And I don't really like. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think I hated it growing up, so I've never tried to.
Tried to like it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I played badly growing up, and then of course I grew up in Chicago during the era of the Dynasty Bulls. So like I saw some amazing basketball being played. So yeah, I still love basketball.
Now, I lived in Boston during the Celtics years when the Celtics and Lakers were going back and forth in the 80s, and also the Detroit Pistons. And Michael Jordan came on.
Yeah, that's some good basketball.
They weren't at the point where they were winning championships yet, but Michael started coming around I got to see Michael play. I think the most interesting game I got to see they were the Washington Bullets at the time. Now they're the Wizards. Manute Bol.
Oh yeah.
We used to have the Kings, didn't we?
And so seeing
And then
Manute
Kansas City
Bol
used to
play
have an NBA team.
at the Garden,
And
you know,
NHL
at the old Garden, that was
What
kind
was
of.
our What is our?
Scouts.
No, NHL was the Blues, not St. Louis Blues. Back when we were growing
Wasn't
up.
NHL the Scouts or was that semi-pro? Or was it, we had a hockey.
We had an NHL team when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
We had an
Well, we had an
IHL
NHL
team.
team.
Oh, the Blues used to be Kansas City?
Yeah.
We had the
We
Scouts
had
for
the
1
Comets
year.
as the soccer team too when I was growing
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Think about this though. Cowtown, Kansas City size in the 60s and 70s had Chiefs, Royals,
Yeah.
Kings, and the Blues.
No, they
Pretty
had the
impressive.
Scouts.
No, Blake, it was the Blues.
So I thought
Before they went to
Yeah,
St.
it was the Blues, and then the Scouts came.
It's good games.
Because the guys that own my company that I bought invested in it and lost their ass. They thought hockey was pretty cool. I think they lost $100,000 a piece.
Yeah, I just don't think it quite got this far.
Not quite. Not
we
quite.
even had the A's
Even
halfway
now.
through the
And
60s.
that's right.
Yeah, days. Kansas City's had a variety of sports teams here.
There's some interesting ones.
And we still have the Kansas City Blues Rugby Club.
Yep.
Did the Chiefs start in Kansas City?
Now they were the Dallas Texans.
Exactly.
That's what I thought.
Back here.
And then we
All
lost
on
the
family
Texans for
almost.
how many years? And now we have the Texans again?
Well, yeah, then the Houston Oilers Houston went to Nashville, right? And Texans are an expansion team, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
But
Was
it's
the year,
very,
was
very
it the year or 2
complicated.
years after the Panthers and Jaguars? Were the expansion
Well, they came in at the
teams.
same time.
They were both
They were on the
expansion
same year, but then the
Right,
Texans
and then
came a
Texans
couple
were
years
couple
after that.
when Cleveland got their team back.
Yes.
Carolina and
Right.
Jacksonville.
and
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
and Baltimore.
Well,
Yeah,
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
was Cleveland, who just switched.
Yeah.
And so the Browns got a
team.
new team.
Modell, that was Modell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most hated man in Cleveland.
I remember the year they used to have the little Hallmark football things, and they had the Browns, and that was the year they like quit playing.
Browns quit playing every year.
I mean, like they were no longer a team. Like there was.
I knew that was coming.
That was not nice. That was not nice, Cleveland.
That was funny.
If anybody likes Cleveland, we're sorry for those comments.
I hope they don't like Cleveland.
We love you, Cleveland. You got Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Hey, you got Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You got Cavaliers playing again.
Yeah,
You got baseball playing pretty decently.
It's a good city.
You just got to do something with them Browns, man.
You can't have it all the time.
Yeah. Hey. But with that, we'll be right back. Hey out there in podcast land, we would not be doing our duty if we didn't acknowledge the sponsors of the Loft Party Podcast, the Majestic Restaurant and Jazz Club, and the Majestic's Pendergast Club. The Majestic carries on Kansas City's tradition of great food and jazz. Let them show you why they are the classic Kansas City steakhouse experience. 931 Broadway, just 3 blocks from the Kansas City Convention Center. J. Rieger and Company, a Kansas City distillery. Whether whiskey, gin, or vodka, neat or on the rocks, J. Rieger, Kansas City, sipping good since 1887. C&P Construction, Kansas City's premier wood framers. 50 years of quality framing and craftsmanship. Just email david.cnpservice@gmail.com and start building something new today. And our friend and frequent guest, Lane Boland. Thank you all for all that you do.